and welcome everyone to my expert foolproof Alquan guide. Before we get started, what are you doing? Where's my video? Doing it wrong. I was making a video on Alquan, just like the script says. The noodle. Alquan hasn't been a noodle in over a year. I don't keep you in the basement to write outdated scripts. Whatever. Just restart. Hello, and welcome everyone to my expert foolproof Kukulkan guide. Before we get started, let me first explain why you should listen to me and disregard all the other advice you may have heard. You see, I have well over 2,000 worshippers on Kukulkan. As we all know, worshippers are directly proportional to a player's skill with the god, and thus, I most likely outrank you. Now peons, to the guide. First off, you're playing Kukulkan, the god with a lot of K's in his name. 3 K's to be exact. K, K, and K. So what does this mean? Well, white supremacy, of course. While in game, make sure to target those gods who are different than you. Greek, Roman, Norse gods are fine, but all other pantheons must be eliminated. For example, this chimichanga and her Hold on, how am I supposed to say this? Rabbit of color? This change.org and her rabbit of color need to know that they're not welcome in my land. Now, I won't be going over what his abilities do, as this is an expert's guide, so I'm assuming that you can all read. One thing that you should keep in mind is to make sure that before every ultimate, you spin in a full 360 degrees. To make this easier, I keep my game mouse on full sensitivity. In doing this, you aren't actually helping to land the ult, but you're sure to get the ladies that watch your Kukulkan montages through sheer badassery. Speaking of badassery, you're going to want to pick up the Sacred Dragon skin. This is the one true Kukulkan skin. Fafnir and Alquan like to pretend they're dragons by playing dress-up with their ultimates. Unlike those posers, Sacred Dragon Kukulkan is 100% dragon 100% of the time. Now, on to the builds. Typically, people will tell you that building Kukulkan is easy. Just build Book of Thoth and literally anything else. Because Book of Thoth's passive is just a smaller version of Kukulkan's, they have great synergy. Well, where some see synergy, I see redundancy. Kukulkan already gets power off mana. Why spend your hard-earned gold on something you already have? Instead, I suggest stacking Warlock Sash or Doomorp, as both have mana and give power on stacks. This build is quite a popular one. Players will constantly tell me about how good this build works. You see, with Gem of Isolation and Polynomicon, killing people is just a squall and an auto away. Keep a careful eye on those who point out this reason for why you should get Gem of Isolation. These players suck at the game. They need to buy an item that slows just so they can land an auto after using an ability that already slows. The real strength of this build is that on top of being able to delete somebody in 0.2 seconds, your Whirlwind will slow an enemy for at least 6 seconds after stepping into it. 6 seconds of a slow on a giant AoE means that your team will have a better team fight. Now the next build is one that I only suggest if you're a politician, captain of your high school football team, or a Cub Scout den leader. You see, this build is the power-hungry build, and should only be used by those seeking to reach a power level of over 900. As you can see, the build does not have boots. Some would say this is a mistake. These are the same people that complain when you don't rotate with your lane opponent. Side note, if you call missing and stay in your lane to get farm, so long as your allies live, your team comes out ahead since you get to push an enemy wave into tower. Moving on. Since this build is very late game oriented, your goal should be to sit in tower until the 30-minute mark, or later if possible. Let your opponent clear first. This way, they can't bully you for lack of escape and movement speed. If the enemy freezes wave, spam the jungler for a gank. For one wave, you can even clear with ult. This gives you a longer range, allowing you to clear from tower. After refusing to surrender for the first 50 minutes of the game, you can rest at ease since your build will kill anyone within range. Now, for some tips on how to use your abilities. If you're going on the offensive, start by catching up on them with your 2, slow them with your 1, then kill them using your 3 and or 4. If running away, start by keeping them from catching up to you with your 2, slow them with your 1, then zone them with your 3 and or 4. Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that soon, with my advice, you'll be the best Kukulkan in your ranked qualifiers. After all, the ease of Kukulkan does make him one of the best picks in ranked. Make sure to tune in next time when I'll teach you how to be part of the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. But there's one more thing you need to know while playing Kukulkan. One more thing that will guarantee you carried your team to victory. All you have to do God fucking damn it. DC'd? For real? Just about to finish the video. Gonna give everyone my secret advice. Show them how to be good.